Thank you very much. Item number 6, public hearing and consideration of an ordinance to rezone property located on the east side of Harrison Street, north on Transportation Parkway from PUD, Planned Unit Development, to C3, Highway Commercial District, case number P11-16, applicant City of Shawnee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. The case we're looking at here today is actually city-owned land. This is northeast of the highway, Harrison Highway, Highway 18. And it's 2 lots and roughly 2.57 acres in size. And currently the land is zoned as a planned unit development. Starting back in 2001, more for transportation type hub. And really what we have in our city code as far as reversion from such a planned unit development is a request to rezone back to the original status, which in this case is C3. By doing this rezone or approving this rezone today, it does not affect what can go into this property. All the allowances are still exactly the same. So staff has no objection to approving this rezone. It is in conformance with the comprehensive plan, the zoning code, and all of our city municipal codes.
Thank you very much, Justin. We need to open the public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak against the proposal? Is there any discussion among the board? There is a motion. Is there a motion on the floor to rezone to the original zoning? Moved by Commissioner Harrod.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. An ordinance concerning the zoning classification of the following described property located within the corporate limits of the city of Shawnee, Pottawatomie County, Oklahoma, to wit, lots 5 and 6, block 1, Yagney addition to Shawnee, Pottawatomie County, Oklahoma, according to the recorded plat thereof, rezoning said property from PUD, planned unit development, to C3, Highway Commercial District, and amending the official zoning map of the city of Shawnee accordingly.
Call the question. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 7, consider an ordinance repealing and amending portions of Chapter 5 Animals of the Shawnee Municipal Code by deleting the requirement in Section 5-3E that the court shall consider the euthanasia of a vicious animal and replacing the euthanasia requirement to a case-by-case discretionary choice by the court, amending Section 5-146 by extending individual rabies certificates through the effective lifespan of the particular rabies dose, and replacing specific dollar fee amounts through the entire chapter with a reference to the city fee schedule, and providing for codification, repealer, and severability, and providing for its immediate effect and enforceability upon passage and publication through the emergency clause.
Mr. Mayor, Commission members, this is part of our ongoing recodification process. We've identified changes, as the Mayor just mentioned, that will help us administer in a more effective manner our animal section of code. So staff does recommend approval. We do recommend approval of the emergency clause so that we have these tools and so that the judge has these tools on an immediate basis. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Justin, actually, I've got a number of questions. I guess I read through this. Did all of the city commission read through this?
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
That's good, because I'm really troubled by this language that we've got in pieces and parts of this. Is there a reason that we use 48-hour notice before we euthanize?
We do not euthanize at 48 hours. That's our minimum as a policy. If we have empty spaces and we have room for animals, we keep well beyond 48 hours. If they're adoptable, we've kept dogs for multiple weeks.
Okay, well, in Section 8, it indicates that 48 hours will be the time frame. And
I took that as a minimum amount of time, 48 hours. Is that not correct, Joe?
And who's to administer this, the euthanasia? Is it a vet?
Yes, ma'am. Our current practice is a veterinarian does administer euthanasia. We do not do it in-house. And Yes, ma'am. Section 8, this says for not less than 48 hours.
Yeah.
And so that's our minimum. I can tell you as a matter of practice, we typically extend much longer than 48 hours.
So was there a reason we didn't put a minimum? The actual language of minimum in there versus the way it was expressed?
If I may, Commissioner, I believe that
Please.
the effect of the language would be a minimum. It's not less than 48 hours.
Okay. Section 9, do we have an actual city fee schedule that we go by?
What this does, and what these codes that we've been modifying the last meeting and the meeting in January, what we're doing is we're going to have a single fee schedule that's adopted by resolution instead of fees having to be scattered throughout the code. And so what this does is pulls those fees out of that section, and we'll be presenting to you in January a consolidated fee schedule.
Okay, in section L, it talks about section 583. Educate me on what is meant by a competent person.
Sorry, which section, Commissioner?
11, section 5-83.
That reads in part, a dog may be off such premises if it is under the control of a competent person and restrained by a substantial leash. I think that just provides a discretionary call based on the individual that's reviewing that. And I don't know how to answer that because it's so dependent upon the case-by-case situation with the individual and the restraint that's used.
Is it possible to use a different phrasing than competent in there?
Commissioner, with all due respect, the city staff has got to have some discretion and some amount of leeway. I think a common sense approach by both our police officers and our animal control people gives them the proper opportunity to make that determination.
With all due respect, Mayor, I do have the right to question.
You do.
So in regard to the language of competent, could we look at that, maybe a rephrasing or something that to me is a little bit different in regard to that?
The short answer, Commissioner, is yes. If the commission, if that's the will of the commission, then the new language can be implemented, or if a motion is made to pass it with different suggested language in that place and it passes, then that would be the will of the commission, and that would be what we would
Okay,
do.
well, it'll be 5-1, so I don't have to worry about that. What is considered a dangerous dog? Do we have an actual meaning for it, Chief, on what dangerous means in reference to a dog?
If I may, Commissioner, there is.
There is a
Yes,
definition. I didn't see that. Okay, thank you. One other question. It indicated that we would now have a process that we would be asking for staff to go through to do, and that's in section 16. Do we have enough staff to do this type of vaccination and registration? Because it looks like now we're going to be taking it to have a dog when they're vaccinated. They have to show that a vet has registered it, and then they have to get a certificate, and then they get a license. Is that a process we're currently using?
We do currently require registration and proof of vaccination. Chief, would you mention if there's any other substantive changes here, or if this is essentially the...
Basically, we've started a new process, and what we're doing right now is we're actually, the dogs that are being vaccinated, we're actually having them vaccinated ourselves, and so they're ready to go. We're starting a new tag program for the dogs to show the vets. One of their issues with us having them vaccinated was the dogs don't have a name in the shelter, and so they had to have a way of tracking them, and so we've come up with a numbered tag system to register the dogs with the vet, so when it comes back in, they'll know if they've been vaccinated or not.
Well, I certainly like the thought of us having a process in place, but I'm just wondering if you have enough staff to handle that, because if it delays dogs getting vaccinated and registered, then to me, it might.
We haven't had any problems with the
Okay.
staffing to take care of that.
Thank you. That was my question. Mayor, as I indicated, I do find that those two areas of concern to me. However, I do understand the need for the commission to go on. And as I've told the chief and Justin, that I do have a number of recommendations I'll be forwarding over to them directly for further discussion. Thank you.
Any other questions? Does this ordinance need a number?
It'll be assigned a number.
So we need a motion to approve as presented.
So bad, move.
Commissioner Harrod,
Second.
by Commissioner Bouchon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're not going to read this whole thing, are you?
I could read this whole thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
An ordinance repealing and amending portions of Chapter 5, Animals of the Shawnee Municipal Code by deleting the requirement in Section 5-3E that the court shall order the euthanasia of, open quote, vicious animal, end quote, and replacing the euthanasia requirement to a case-by-case discretionary choice by the court. Amending Section 5-146 by extending individual rabies certificates through the effective lifespan of the particular rabies dose, and replacing specific dollar fee amounts throughout the entire chapter with a reference to the city fee schedule, and providing for codification, repealer, and severability, and providing for its immediate effect and enforceability upon passage and publication through the emergency clause.
Thank you. Call the question.
Justin and the chief, I'd like to just say while I vote this, that I appreciate that you have written this. However, I cannot agree with certain pieces of it, and since it's all together, I want you to know the reason I'm voting no.
5 ayes, 1 nay. Motion carries. Is there a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
I move we adopt emergency clause.
Commissioner Harrod, motion. Second by Commissioner Rutherford. Call the question. Emergency clause passes 5 ayes and 1 nay. Item number 8, consider annexation request by North Rock Creek School for purposes of future construction and authorize staff to proceed with notice and hearing requirements.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, before you this evening is a request from North Rock School District to annex into the city of Shawnee. Their existing educational facilities are already in city limits. What you would be doing is, by this action item, is authorizing staff to proceed with the notice requirements. A vote tonight would not actually annex the property, but we would proceed with notice, and you would consider it formally on January 17th. A little bit of background. The request is for 75.6 acres, which is the remaining property outside of the 6.47 that's currently in city limits. That's part of their campus. North Rock Creek proposes to build a high school in the future, and this annexation would help facilitate that. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Questions? Is there a motion?
I so moved.
Moved by Commissioner Gillum. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Harrod. Call the question. Motion carries 5-1. Item 9, acknowledge sales tax report December 2016. Call item.
Ms. Arnold has left the bad news to me this evening. We were down in December 6.73%, or 111,000. But overall, for the year, that puts us down only 136,000, or 1.51%. So we're hopeful that as the numbers come in for the holiday shopping season, that we'll be back on track and leveled out. So nothing, I think, to be overly alarmed with at this point, but something that we're certainly watching and We'll be cautious going into the new year, and hopefully I can report better news to you on the 17th. In your packet is a more detailed summary sheet. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Otherwise, that concludes my report.
I think we're probably pretty fortunate to be down that much. I think some of the other cities are down 10 to 12% on their
Yes, sir.
income, on their sales tax, so it's pretty fortunate not to just be down that much.
Yes, sir. I think we're doing pretty well compared to many communities in the state.
Other questions? Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, sir.
Item 10, Parks Design RFQ. James?
Mayor and Commissioners, we are here to revisit the award for the Parks Design, Parks Designs to CLS and Associates, where staff went out for RFQs and did receive, I believe, 5 of them. We went through those and narrowed it down and have decided on the CLS. From your last comments in the last meeting, we certainly want to give the committees a chance to look at the beautification committees and speaking with Avitas and about the blue zones. It's going to probably take a little bit of time for blue zones to get up and running, but we are certainly going to keep that in mind to integrate that into our plans as information comes available. Now, this design isn't going to happen overnight, and I'm sure that there'll be plenty of time to integrate that information into that. So, it is our recommendation to what we really are doing is asking for us to go ahead and negotiate contracts, which will take a little bit of time. So we're not actually getting the firm started on this. We are just negotiating what it's going to cost for us to do this design.
Will the contract come back to us for approval?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. We hopefully will be able to bring that to you January 17th. And I know there's been some strong interest from some of you and other members of the community about incorporating downtown and this concept of a downtown square, some connection from Woodland Park to Main Street. So we can, when we negotiate the contract, we'll be looking at the scope of services and what exactly the architect will be doing for us, and we can be sure to incorporate that. And I did speak to Ms. Briggs with the Avitas Foundation last week, and we feel like by the time we negotiate the contract and get the consultant on board, it will be February or March, and that will work very well with their schedule if they decide to move forward with blue zones. And so she also was in favor of us proceeding.
Any other questions or comments?
I move we negotiate the contract.
Moved by Commissioner Harrod. Second by Commissioner Ruchon. Call a question. Motion carries 6-0. New business.
There is no new business, sir.
Commissioner comments.
Just want to wish everybody a
Merry Christmas.
happy holiday and be careful out there and enjoy yourselves.
'Tis a season to be jolly, I guess. We've gone through a really rigorous political scene recently, and we just hope that we all can pull together and make our nation what we know the potential's here. I know it's tough on some and it's happier on others, but the thing is we all have to get together. We're all Americans. We all want the same thing. We just may look at a different path to get there, but we all want the same thing. Let's be friends with each other. Let's accept each other and just move ahead with where we are, from where we are.
I'd like to comment also about, the holidays and everybody, a Merry Christmas and a safe New Year's into the beginning of 2017. Look like we're going to start out with a planning session. One of the first things was at January the 6th.
Yes, sir.
So looking forward to that. Other thing is that I just noticed on TV tonight they're talking about shortage of blood donors, And Masonic Lodge is going to have a blood drive, and it's February the 3rd from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till I think 6 o'clock in the evening. So trying to schedule it where people want to get off work and so forth and run by. And we will have it inside, not necessarily in the bus, but it will be inside the building. So I invite every one of them to come by on the 3rd and donate your blood.
Just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and for your remaining Christmas gifts between now and then, remember to shop Shawnee.
I'd like to thank the court systems for what they do for the city of Shawnee, for the police department, for all of our city staff for all that they do, the municipal authority, the airport authority, the planning commission. I thank you all. I thank you for the Reverend who came out tonight, prayed for us. I'd like to thank the city of Shawnee for all that they do. I wish you a Merry Christmas and hope that the future is brighter. Stay safe, and thank you again.
I've preached for years and years that direction is a lot more important than speed. And I couldn't say more about our city staff and the direction of the city of Shawnee at this point. I know we have our hiccups coming, but I think we're moving in the right direction. And thank you all for your efforts, and everyone have a Merry Christmas. And we'll recess this meeting and convene the Shawnee Airport Authority. Is there a quorum?
Yes.
Item 1, consider the consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Harrod,
Second.
second by Commissioner Gillum. Is there any discussion? Call the question. Motion carries 6-0. Is there any new business?
No, sir.
The meeting is adjourned by the power of the chair. And we call to order the Shawnee Municipal Authority. Is there a quorum?
Yes.
Consider the approval of consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Harrod,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rutherford. Call the question. Punch your button, Ron. Motion carries 6-0. Item 2, consider bids.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Commission. What I've got here is the staff's recommendation to award this equipment bid deferred from December 5th City Commission meeting. Staff is respectfully requesting that the City Commission award the 6-inch trailer-mounted pump to Normco Energy Products in the amount of $38,664.22, and $70,000 is in the budget for this.
That is a local company too, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. Normco is a local company that we've been we do have some history with, and this is a very good bid, and we're happy to get it.
I make a motion to approve this.
Moved by Commissioner Shaw,
Thank you.
Second.
second by Commissioner Buchon. Call the question. Motion carries 6-0. Is there any new business?
No, there's not, sir.
This meeting is adjourned. Return to the City Commission meeting is reconvened. Consider an executive session to discuss potential claims, litigation, and other options regarding United States District Court for the Western District of Oklahoma, case number CIV 15805F, Circle D Pond number 4, Inc., et al. Versus City of Shawnee, et al., as authorized by 25 OS 307B4.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Harrod,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rutherford. Call the question. Motion carries 6-0. Item 14, consider matters discussed in executive session regarding potential claims, litigation, and other options regarding United States District Court for Western District of Oklahoma, case number CIV 15805F, Circle D Pond number 4, Inc., et al. Versus City of Shawnee, et al., as authorized by 25 OS 307B4. Is there a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to authorize the city attorney to negotiate and settle attorney's fees claim with the authority granted by the commission, subject to a maximum amount authorized, disclosure of which would seriously impair the negotiating process.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Herring. Is there any discussion? Call the question. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.
Thank you all. Happy New Year. We'll see you on January 6th.
Yes, sir.